It's more than enough to let the light in. The way you're making me feel, it's divine. It's enough to let it flow, let it be. 'Cause you're everything that I crave in this life. 'Cause we're everything we can find in another life. Take my hand and my promises, they're yours to be held, and I want you. I only want you. Keep my heart and my honor is yours to be held, and I want you. I only want you for the rest of my life. My life. For the rest of my life. You're in my sight and my mind, in the quiet and the upfront out loud, in the calm, in my spirit and the storm. 'Cause you're everything that I crave in this life. 'Cause we're everything we can't find in another life. Take my hand and my promises, they're yours to be held, and I want you. I only want you. Keep my heart and my honor is yours to be held, and I want you. I only want you for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. For the rest of my life.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the locker room. And sorry, hit the wrong button. I am Nan, and today on Talking Point, we are going to talk about social media fact checking. Is it necessary? Because I found this lady, I don't even know what her channel name is, but she goes down these rivers walking. Excuse me. Sometimes in flip flops, even. And she's walking. And it doesn't matter if she's in her church clothes, like silk blouses and skirts, whatever she's wearing. She just goes in the river and she finds these great big clams. I mean, they're like this big. Some of them are bright blue, some of them are white. She's found red ones. I presume they paint them. I don't know. But she puts 4 or 5 of them in her basket, usually around 3 or 4. But anyway, she puts them in her basket and she goes to a dry piece of ground and she gets out. She takes them all out. And she takes her knife out of the basket and she opens every one of them and she lays them out flat, puts all the meat on one side and whatever. Then she starts feeling of them and she never speaks. She just says, oh, ah, oh, like this, Anyway. And she cuts into the meat and starts pushing out. And some of these pearls that are coming out are this big. She's found red ones, black ones, purple ones, aqua ones, gold ones, orange ones, all different colors, pink, lavender, green. I mean, like beautiful pearls. Some of them are great big, like this big. Some of them are little normal pearl size. I mean, they're all different sizes. Some of them, I thought, this is fascinating. She was starting to get these big round ones that were clear. That's amazing, And I'm thinking in my mind, it can happen. So anyway, then I keep watching a few more of her shows. She puts like 4 or 5 episodes into one show. But I keep watching, and she's finding these big old clams, and she cuts it open, and she goes, "Whoa!" It's really big. And you know those faceted glass pieces of glass that look like a diamond, but they're pieces of glass. They're like this big. She's been finding those already faceted, round, with the pointed bottom and all the facets around. And she's finding heart-shaped ones and diamond-shaped ones and small ones and big ones. And I'm like, I messaged that. I said, how can you find a already faceted diamond in a clam? Diamonds don't come from clams. I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid. So it got me to thinking about fact checking. I don't know how you can fact check something from China because, or Vietnam or whatever country she's in, Asia. I don't know. I don't care what country she's in. It's fun to watch her open all these, to hunt these clams because some of them are really, but there's also clickbait because on the images, they show her by a clam like as big as this room, and she takes up like this much of the clam, and the rest of the clam's great big. And some of them you can see her pulling the meat like it's like she's doing this, pulling the meat. And then you go and watch the whole video, and she never finds a clam that big. So, it's like clickbait. But how do you say clickbait in Chinese? And anyway, got me thinking about fact checking. So I went to Grok. And let's see what Grok had to say about fact checking and social media. On social media, okay? Because it's important that we've got YouTube, we've got Facebook, we've got Reddit, we've got X, we've got Snapchat. I don't know what all. I've got YouTube and Facebook and that. Well, I got X, but I don't even follow anybody on X. It comes up and it's always the same stuff. It's Elon Musk. That's the only thing I ever see on X, or the president's granddaughter. So, okay, let's pull this up on stage. All right, I can't make this any bigger, so I can make it to it. So I said, should social media platforms be required to fact check all posted content? That was the question I put into Grok. Sorry, I heard a noise outside my room. Maybe CJ's home from work. I can't tell because my Ring camera for my doorbell is being charged right now. Okay. The question of whether social media platforms should be required to fact check all posted content is a continuous one, touching on issues like free speech, if I could say it, I could do it, okay? Misinformation and technological feasibility. This debate has intensified in recent years amid concerns over fake news. Thank you, President Trump, for your term. He used to say that during his first 4 years. Election interference and public health crises. While some argue for mandatory fact-checking to safeguard societies, others warn of overreach and impracticality. Below, I'll outline the main pros and cons based on expert analysis and studies aiming for a balanced perspective. Excuse me. Pros of requiring fact checking. Mandating fact checking could help mitigate the harms of misinformation. Hi, H. Davis. How you doing? Um, Mandating fact check could help mitigate the harms of misinformation which spread rapidly on social media. For instance, platforms could partner with independent organizations to verify claims, reducing the dissemination of false information that affects public health or democracy. Key advantages include, now I did not fact check this. I'll put this right on top. I went to Grok and this is what Grok says. No, I'm not sleepy. I just, when I get in front of the computer or when I try to read, I'm yawning. It's just that's just the way I am. I actually got to sleep from 10 to 1 last night. Then the dogs wanted out, so I let them out. The cat wanted into the bedroom, so I let him in. Then forgot the cat was in the bedroom and the dogs wanted back in. So I let the dogs back in, put them back to bed in their crates. And then they noticed the cat because he decided he was afraid of the dogs and took off running across the room. So the fight was on between the cats and the dogs, which I got the cat out. The dogs managed to stay in their crates, but they kept whining and barking at the cat all night. And then finally got back to sleep. And then my son's alarm woke me up at 6 o'clock. So, and I had to go to the bank at 9 o'clock. So the only place I've been today is to the bank. I have a friend that's fighting COVID, and she said she can't get rid of her cough. So I offered her my inhaler since I quit smoking. I don't need it anymore. But she hadn't said she wanted it, and I don't want to risk getting COVID to take it to her, so I'd just leave it on her porch in a Ziploc bag if I took it to her. Okay, but thank you for asking. I am not sleepy. It's just I'm reading and in front of the computer. Because I actually just finished drinking a Monster, so there's no way I could be sleepy. Reducing misinformation and harmful content. Fact checking has been shown to correct false beliefs and combat the spread of misleading information, such as during elections or health emergencies like the Rona. You can't say that online. Okay, so community based systems like X, community notes can extend the reach of professional fact checkers by providing context and explanations, making them more trusted than simple flags. This approach has proven effective in increasing user trust and improving identification of misleading posts. Now, I know when I was doing true crime and I was checking with other content, checking the pages of other content creators about Sebastian Rogers and about Jack and Lily Sullivan and about Summer Wells. Not so much on Summer Wells, but especially with Sebastian Rogers and Jack and Lily. Um, there's some channels that I noticed real quick were clickbait, and they weren't telling. Their whole program was written on AI, and when it's all written in AI, I don't believe it's all fact because AI only knows what a person tells it. I don't know. You been busy? What you doing? Is your job going well? I found out today that my my health teacher from junior high and one of our sports coaches from high school was put on hospice today. And that's sad. And I put out prayers and everything. So he is, I pray for his family. I know the inevitables. The inevitable's going to happen. Well, I am really happy that you're doing well. I'm really happy. Okay. Enhancing online safety and accountability. Algorithms for content moderation can restrict illegal or harmful material, protecting vulnerable groups like children from exposure to self-harm content or cyberbullying. Now, that's a really good thing. It really is. And it also holds elites and influencers accountable, fostering media literacy and promoting good journalistic practices. Public support for third-party fact-checking remains strong, with studies showing most Americans favor it to maintain information and integrity. If you're raised believing that the truth will set you free, which means it's always best to tell the truth, because you don't have to keep making up stories to corroborate something that's not true and get confused and end up telling on yourself. If you try to make sure everything you say and do is truthful, then you're not going to have issues with somebody fact checking you. Now, granted, even people that think they're putting out something truthful can make mistakes. It happens. Okay, promoting trust and civic health. By prioritizing verifiable content, platforms could reduce polarization and intent toxicity, where bad actors exploit confusion. Linking fact checks to unbiased sources further boosts their perceived helpfulness. Now, when I put out a post, I put out in my comments down below where I get all my content from. So anybody is welcome and encouraged to go check out the source that I got my content from. Even Grok. I have this link right here that's in the top of my Grok, right? Oh, you can't see it. Let me copy it here. Put it right here. This link right here is across the top of in my search bar. And that's the link to this article that I'm reading on Grok. Okay, now the cons of requiring fact checking. On the flip side, enforcing universal fact checking raises significant challenges and risks. The sheer scale of content, billions of posts daily, makes comprehensive verification impossible without major trade-offs. Feasibility and scale issues. Professional fact checkers can't keep pace with the volume of user-generated content, which equates to centuries of traditional newspaper output daily on platforms like X, formerly Twitter. Relying on AI alone leads to errors. I just said that, and I hadn't even read this. Such as over-blocking legitimate posts or failing to adapt to evolving misinformation. Well, that wasn't what I was saying about it, but I agree with it. Not all false content is equally dangerous, e.g., flat earth theories versus anti-vaccine claims, so blanket requirements might be inefficient. Some people believe that vaccinations lead to childhood illnesses or mental deficiencies such as autism or being tongue tied or, all sorts of different things. Stuttering. Um, when I was a kid in elementary school, if a student came to school in kindergarten and they were left handed, they were forced to learn to write right handed. And a lot of times that led to stuttering because you're right brained and left brained, which I don't know if they knew that back then, but being right brained and left brained, if you're a right brain thinker, you have the same neurons and everything. Everybody does, whether you're right handed or left handed. But if you're a right brain thinker, you write with your left hand. If you're a left brain thinker, you write with your right hand. So that's where the joke left-handed people are in their right mind. So I mean, and when you are a right brain thinker, forced to write with your left hand, forced to write with your right hand, it confuses your brain and it messes up something in the speech. That's the theory I heard back when I was in elementary school. So I'm ambidextrous. I can write with both hands. I do a lot of things with my left hand that I don't do with my right hand, and just whichever hand naturally wants to do whatever I'm doing is the hand I will allow to do it. I don't make myself do things differently. So, free speech and censorship concerns. Mandates could give platforms too much editorial power, potentially silencing marginalized voices or leading to biased moderations. We already have biased moderations. Either way, case in point, the Sebastian Rogers missing teenager from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Before his case, I had never heard of the green team and the other side. Whoever happens to be calling that side of the street. I didn't know YouTube had streets. And as far as I'm concerned, when I I considered myself part of the green team, but the only part of the street that mattered to me was the part focused on Sebastian. It wasn't whether I was green or whether I was whatever the other side. I called them blue jays. But that's case in point. It would silence too many people because all the people on the other side would have to stop their posts unless they could conform to the truth. And it depends on which side of the parents, because the mom and dad were divorced and the mom was remarried. So the people that followed the mom's side were the other side, and the people that followed the dad's side were the green team. When what matters is Sebastian. And come December, he was 15. He's turned 16. He'll turn 17 this year. I think it is. Next year, if he is still not home by the time he turns 18, he can walk away from wherever he's at. And he can say, look here. And then he can tell the story of what happened to him. And he can tell the truth. And I hope he's home before that day, because his 2-year anniversary is coming up this month on my mom and dad's anniversary, which would be their 60th anniversary, will be the 2-year mark since he went missing. Okay. Relying on AI alone leads to errors such as okay, I already read that. Critics argue platforms shouldn't act as arbiters of truth, as this contradicts principles of open discourse and media literacy, where users discern information themselves. Unintended well, I was going to say everything is based on, like my opening, it says everything's based on facts as I can find them or know them. And I try to stick to the truth of the matter, no matter what I'm talking about. I was going to say, because the thought crossed my mind, which if it just crosses my mind and I'm able to keep it from coming out my mouth, a person could say that if somebody puts that in their opening, in their description, that means you can automatically know that what's on their page is going to be a lie. No, it doesn't. And I shouldn't have thought it. I shouldn't say it, except to say that's not what it means. It's there for the people that don't want to believe what I say. Then they can read that and hopefully realize that I'm trying to tell the truth. Okay? Because if I find out that I've told something that wasn't true, I will go back and tell on myself. I will apologize for misleading anybody, and I have done that even in the Sebastian Rogers case. I didn't mean to tell something that wasn't true. I didn't check my source. And that's kind of what leads to this. And it's part of why I don't do true crime anymore. So, unintended consequences. Ending fact-checking programs as Meta did in 2025 might increase bad stuff online, but forcing it could worsen polarization or drive users to unregulated spaces. Bloggers and influencers spread unverified claims, highlight the need for user responsibility over platform nowadays. And that's true. Every content creator, whether it's Facebook, X, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever platform you're putting content out on, it's your responsibility as the content creator to put the truth out. If you want and you choose to put out stuff that you know when you put it out is not the truth, that's on you, honey. It isn't on me. If I clip part of your content and I use it and I put it out thinking it's true, then I get a bunch of people saying, that's a blatant lie. And I watched the most recently, the last thing I did on true crime was about the ICE shooting in Michigan, Minnesota, whatever state that is up there. And I watched the video 5 or 6 different times. I watched it and I posted it in the live I went on. A lady came on 2 days later and said that was a blatant lie. She turned her car to hit him so hard that she knocked his cell phone out of his, or knocked his gun out of his hand. And she said in the comment to me that it was on body cam. Okay, first of all, to prove what I was saying, the ICE agent was not wearing a body cam. He was holding his cell phone, recording what was going on her vehicle. He hit her car with the hand holding the cell phone. He stepped back. He never fell to the ground. He never lost control of his weapon. He used it to shoot through the glass and 2 more times through the open window. He never lost control of that weapon. Then she calls me a blatant liar. I'm sorry, I had my feelings like right here. My moderator, Amanda Panda, said, you broke your own rule. I said, how? She said, you put politics on your page. She was right. I didn't realize I was putting politics on my page when I did. I thought I was talking about a crime that was committed by this ICE agent, and it ended up, she was right, because President Mr. Trump got involved in it. So anyway, that's kind of what I was talking about. Okay, balanced perspective. Untimely ultimately requiring checkers checking for all content may not be practical or desirable, as it could infringe on free expression while failing to address the root cause of misinformation. Instead, hybrid models like combining AI, community input, and expert verification offer a middle ground as seen in voluntary codes like EU's Digital Services Act. I don't know what that is, and I didn't look it up. I apologize. But there's a link right here that I could click on and we could find out. Emphasizing media literacy, education, and targeting high harm misinformation, e.g., during elections, could be more effective than universal mandates. The goal should be fostering an informed public rather than perfect moderation, recognizing that no system is foolproof and an open digital in an open digital ecosystem. Everybody makes mistakes. Long story short. Okay, so next we're going to go to marketing media tree. I'm trying to find my goal when I was looking things up today was to find places that explained what the rules are and how the rules should be applied. Okay, now I think I have to read this one too. Oh, I don't want to read that much. Okay, anyway. Social media policy guide and practical examples. A social media policy is a formal document that outlines how employees, contractors, and third parties partner should conduct themselves online when representing or being affiliated with a business. It sets the standard for acceptable behavior, communication tone, confidentiality, and compliance on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, formerly Twitter, and TikTok. It does not say anything about YouTube, but I'm sure YouTube's probably in there too. In today's hyper-connected digital workspace, a well-defined social media policy is no longer optional. It is essential. According to 2024 report by Statista, over 5.17 billion people globally use social media, and employees are often among them. Blurring the lines between personal and professional boundaries. When I used to work in healthcare, because I was a nursing assistant, and I also worked in healthcare, the same in nursing care facilities. I worked in the kitchen as a cook and a dishwasher and whatever else I could do in the kitchen. Okay. So I grew up in that line of work. So, and when social media came out, when we hired on, we signed a paper stating that we understood we could not discuss any of the clients, we could not discuss other employees, We could not discuss our supervisors or anybody that we supervised. We could not mention the name of the facility we were working in or anything like that in any social media post. And to back it up, our supervisors or other employees, because if you're friends with somebody on Facebook, they're friends with somebody else on Facebook. So, and back then that's about all there was. So if I was to say something about an employee, which one of my very best friends was a nurse, an RN, and most of the places I worked, she also worked. And if I mentioned her, I could get in trouble. I got called into the office so many times about mentioning things. And one time they called me in, they said, "You're not supposed to post pictures of coworkers on your social media platform." I looked at my supervisor and I said, "Okay, do you want me to be fired? Or are you going to write me up for posting pictures of my wedding that my best friend was a part of?" You're saying I didn't mention her name in the post. I just posted pictures and it had nothing to do with my work. But she was in my wedding. And I said, "I don't think you can write me up for that." And I didn't get wrote up. I didn't keep my job very long after that, but I didn't get wrote up. So, I mean, it's just, they did say, "You signed a paper." I said, "Yeah, but she's my best friend and that was my wedding." Her husband was the preacher that officiated my wedding. And our running joke for the next 5 years that she was alive after that was her husband married me. People would look at me and look at us and say, "And you're still friends?" I was like, "Well, yeah, he was married to her when he did it." It was a joke. And it wasn't a lie. It was just misleading. But okay, so back to what we're saying. In today's hyper-connected digital workspace, a well-defined social media policy is no longer optional. It's essential. According to a 2024 report by Statista, over 5.17 billion people globally use social media, and employees are often among them, blurring the lines between personal and professional boundaries. Moreover, 73% of executives believe that a single inappropriate social post can cause lasting damage to brand reputation. Companies today face the risk of viral public relation crises, legal complications, and data breach due to poor managed or undefined online behavior. Now, I have a cousin who works in a field. I'm not going to say what field because I know about it. Okay. They're not allowed to have Facebook accounts in the field she works in. Not at all. If they get caught with a Facebook account, they can lose their job. So, and she doesn't do any kind of social media. She doesn't TikTok. I think she might watch YouTube or something. I don't know, but she doesn't post on YouTube. She doesn't have a social media account like that. This blog is your complete guide to understanding and implementing a social media policy. We'll cover what a social media policy really is, why it matters more than ever, key components every policy must include, a step-by-step guide to creating one, real-world examples from top brands. What is a social media policy? A social media policy is a documented set of rules and guidelines that outlines how employees, contractors, and representatives should use social media, both professionally and personally, when their actions may impact the company's brand, reputation, or confidentiality. This policy ensures that all online interactions, whether they're posting from a brand account or their own profile, align with the business's values and legal standards. Now, on the other hand, my business that I had when I had my resale store, I looked towards social media to get the word out about my store, to try to get people to come to my store. Therefore, I used social media in a positive way. However, the people in the town I lived in used it to make my store a bad thing when they had never even been in my store, just because they didn't like the name of it, when they didn't even know what it stood for. Unlike casual best practices or tone suggestion, a social media policy is enforceable and often reviewed by legal and human resource departments. It typically covers aspects like appropriate behavior, use of company assets, response to negative comments, data privacy, and how to handle confidential information. Importantly, the social media policy applies not only to official company pages, but also to personal accounts when an employee's content can be linked to the company. For example, an employee venting about work on LinkedIn could raise compliance about PR concerns, which is public relations. It also, it's that's not a place to put a compound fracture. It is also crucial to distinguish between a social media policy and a social media guidelines. A social media policy, the rule book, it defines what's allowed and what's not. Social media guidelines, the playbook, these offer tips on how to engage, write a brand voice, and optimize content, but aren't typically enforceable. Have a clear social media policy protects both the company and its people. It creates consistency, minimizes risk, and enables employees to engage confidently in today's fast-paced digital environment. Why your company needs a social media policy. In today's real-time digital world, one tweet, comment, or post can instantly affect your business, for better or worse. A strong social media policy acts as a protective shield for your brand, ensuring that online activity reflects your values, complies with the law, and builds trust with your audience. Okay, the business I'm in right now, that I don't make any money at, is sitting right here talking to you on YouTube. I rely on YouTube, Facebook, and whoever else wants to put it out there that I'm online, that I am live, that they can come and look at my content. And hopefully they'll subscribe to my channel. Eventually I'll get enough people that I'll start getting paid. But I've had people, one person paid for 3 people a 1-month membership. And I got a letter from YouTube stating that once I get $100 in my account, I'll be able to get that $7.39 that she paid for those 3 memberships back in October. I don't like that policy at all. Okay. Protect brand reputation from online crises. Social media crises happen fast. A single inappropriate post from an employee or customer service mishandling can go viral within minutes. If you don't believe me, just watch how things happen over on the YouTube streets for true crime. I'll put it that way. I'm not mentioning any names, but yeah, if you like drama, go over there. Okay. In fact, 59% of consumers say they will unfollow a brand after a single negative experience online. A clear social media policy outlines how to prevent, manage, and respond to such crises, helping your business stay in control and maintain its reputation. Ensure legal compliances and avoid lawsuits. From copyright infringement to data leaks and workplace harassment, social media introduces several legal risks. A well structured social media policy helps safeguard against defamation, regulatory violations, and breaches of confidentiality. It establishes that what a legally acceptable protecting both your company and employees from lawsuits and fines. Some companies have been known to go look at your social media pages before they will decide to hire you or not. If you put a lot of rhetoric on your page about past employers or whatever, you're most likely not going to get a job. If you put a lot of baloney on there about people you've worked with in the past, you're most likely not going to get a job. If you put a lot of baloney on about the town you live in, you're most likely not going to get a job if you work in that town. See, it's simple. You put out negative, you get back negative. You put out positive, you get back positive. It's that simple. Empower employees to share brand content safely. Your team can be your strongest advocates online if guided correctly. According to LinkedIn, content shared by employees received 8 times more management than content shared by brand channels alone. A social media policy provides employees with clear do's and don'ts so they can confidentially promote the brand knowing they're aligned with company standards. Create consistency in voice, tone, and response strategy. When replying to a customer query on Instagram or sharing a LinkedIn update, consistent communication is key to trust. A social media policy helps ensure that every employee or representative uses the correct tone, managing style or messaging style, and escalation procedures. This keeps your brand voice unified across platforms, teams, and time zones. Key components of a strong social media policy. To be effective at a social media policy must go beyond generic do's and don'ts. It should cover every angle, legal, behavioral, and strategic, to ensure that all team members, from interns to executives, understand their responsibilities online. Below are 10 essential components every social media policy should include: purpose and scope, acceptable behavior, confidentiality rules, personal use guidelines, compliance and legal, crisis management, security protocols, ownerships of account, monitoring and enforcing, review and updates. How to create a social media policy step by step, and it goes into how to create it, which you're welcome to go to the site, and it's in my description below, and look it up if you're interested. Because I don't know anybody anymore who works for Coca-Cola. Okay, I know somebody, but he doesn't work for Coca-Cola anymore. I'll put it that way. I don't know anybody that works for Dell, Best Buy, Ford, the U.S. Air Force. Free template, build your own social media policy. Okay. So I don't want to dox anybody. Don't want to get anybody in trouble because I know somebody that used to work for Coca-Cola. All right. So next, we're going to go to fact checking on social media can reduce the spread of misinformation, but its effectiveness varies significantly depending on the context and beliefs of the audience. No matter how true something is, if someone in your audience doesn't believe you and they can come up with a logical reason why what you're saying isn't true, then you can be deemed as a person that doesn't tell the truth. Effectiveness of fact checking, reduction in engagement, challenges with personal or polarization, credibility and context. The conclusion. While fact checking can serve as a useful tool in combating misinformation on social media, its success is not guaranteed. It can help mitigate the spread of false information, especially in neutral contexts, but it faces significant challenges in polarized discussions where individuals may discuss factual corrections. The ongoing evolution of fact-checking methods, including community-driven approaches, may enhance its effectiveness, but the complexities of human belief systems and biases remain significant hurdles. Okay. So there's that. In other words, nothing is foolproof. Nothing. I don't care what it is, it's not foolproof. Okay, here's why ended fact checking according to experts. Okay, there's an error in this video, so I can't play it. Meta, the parent company of Facebook, announced plans Tuesday to replace fact checkers with a user-based system known as community notes. Fact checkers who were put in place in the wake of Mr. Donald Trump's 2016 election have proven to be too politically biased to have destroyed more trust than they've created, particularly in the United States. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg said in a video posted by the company, the recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point toward once again prioritizing speech, Mr. Zuckerberg added. More, Facebook, Instagram dump fact checkers citing election as crucial tipping point. That's what it says. The policy shift will make the platform more generally permissive toward user posts, especially on some controversial subjects such as immigration and gender. The company said. Zuckerberg also acknowledged that the change may mean we're going to catch less bad stuff, which means they can't catch everything. The decision will impact content moderation on Meta-owned platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, which count nearly 4 billion users worldwide. Okay. Solid here. Back up here. NASA, I don't know if this is a commercial.
Homes.com's comprehensive search layers cover an array of environmental factors. With just a few clicks, you can find homes with a low flood, fire, heat, wind, noise, and air factor. Because you don't want to buy your dream home only to find out it's in an area that's risky or just
I can't stop the commercial, I'm sorry.
Silence! That's better. Everyone will sleep soundly in a community with a lower sound factor. Want a better search experience? Homes.com has the home search you've been searching for.
GOP leaders labor for support ahead of key test vote on ending partial government shutdown. What the heck? All right, let's skip this. I don't want to go through all that mess. How do I get it smaller? Well, I guess we have to go through it. I'm sorry.
4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Critics of the move said it reflected a partisan effort to align Meta with President-elect Trump, who has repeatedly criticized the company for alleged anti-conservative bias proponents. Meanwhile, praised the decision to sign a renewed emphasis on free speech rather than content policy. Experts who spoke to ABC News said it's difficult to know exactly what motivated the company, but they said both explanations are plausible. Meta may view the decision as an opportunity to jettison a policy targeted by conservatives and curry favor with Mr. Trump while shifting the company toward a permissive stance on speech that Mr. Zuckerberg has previously avowed, that experts said. Mr. Zuckerberg knew he'd have a fight on his hands to change the basic tenets of Facebook. Eric Goldman, a professor at Santa Clara University Schools of Law who studied content moderation, told ABC News, the question is, why now? Meta did not immediately respond to ABC's request for comment. Meta launched the fact-checking program in the heat of intense scrutiny leveled at the company regarding the spread of misinformation on the platform during the 2016 presidential campaign. The initiative came under certain criticism from prominent Republicans, including Mr. Trump, who accused the company of anti-conservative bias in its elevation of user posts. Tension between Meta and Trump intensified in early 2021 when the company banned Mr. Trump's accounts from its platform in the aftermath of the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. At the time, Mr. Zuckerberg called the risk of allowing Mr. Trump on the platform simply too great. In recent years, however, yes.
You all right?
Yes.
Oh, I saw an officer leave off the Helen's tree on the way in.
It wasn't here.
Oh, okay, Edward, come back.
But thank you for checking on me.
Well, I didn't know whether someone tried to do something or try to break in, or I just see the officer. I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. There's never an officer down in our area unless something bad happens.
Okay. Well, thanks for checking. Love you, mean it. Bye. Okay. The initiative came under criticism from prominent Republicans, including Mr. Trump, who accused the company of anti-conservative bias in its evaluation of user posts. Tension between Meta and Trump intensified in early 2021 when I already read all that. In recent years, however, the social media platforms have shifted toward a conservative, friendly, laissez-faire approach to speech. Laissez, I don't know that word. I'm gonna lie. He smells like tater tots. I didn't lie.
I just got back from work. That's all I hear is I smell like tater tots.
You smell like tater tots.
I can't help it.
Well, wash your jacket.
I do.
Wash it every night.
I love the smell, though.
Ew.
Delicious food.
He thinks he smells good smelling like tater tots. In recent years, however, social media platforms have shifted towards a conservative-friendly, laissez-faire approach to speech. So Messing, a research associate professor at New York University Center for Social Media and Politics, and a former research scientist at Facebook, told ABC News. What? New York University has a center for social media? I want to take that class. Okay. Billionaire entrepreneur Mr. Elon Musk acquired then Twitter, now X, in October 2022, moving soon afterwards to weaken the platform's content moderation rules and emphasize community notes approach. Last year, Meta reinstated Mr. Trump's account. There's been a shift rightward in terms of attitudes towards free speech in Silicon Valley, and perhaps this decision is part of that. Messing added. Okay. Lately, Meta and Mr. Zuckerberg have appeared to warm toward Mr. Trump. Meta donated $1 million to Mr. Trump's inauguration last month after having foregone a donation to Mr. Trump's inauguration in 2017. On Monday, this post was put out January 7th of 2025. Okay, so that's why. Okay. There's been a shift rightward in terms of attitude toward free speech in Silicon Valley. Oh, okay, I'm glad you're back. And perhaps this decision is part of that Mr. Messing or Miss Messing added. Lately, Meta and Mr. Zuckerberg have appeared to warm towards Mr. Trump. Meta donated $1 million to Mr. Trump's inauguration last month. Remember, this was in 2025, in January. After having foregone a donation to Mr. Trump's inauguration in 2017. On Monday, Meta appointed Ultimate Fighting Championship CEO Dana White, a Mr. Trump ally, to the company's board of directors. The move came days after Meta named former Republican lobbyist Joel Kaplan as its new chief global affairs officer. It's very difficult to ignore this fact-checking announcement in terms of the timing of those moves as well, Messing said. Noting other potential reasons for the move, such as cost-cutting or skepticism about the role of experts in policing content. For his part, Mr. Trump appears to believe he influenced the policy change. When asked at a press conference at Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday whether Meta's new content moderation policy came in response to his previous criticism of the company, Mr. Trump said, probably. So he didn't say it did and he didn't say it didn't, but it kind of puts like he leans towards it, maybe did. Okay. Still, there's a reason to believe the policy change bring Meta's content moderation approach into closer alignment with the views previously expressed by Mr. Zuckerberg, some experts said. In a blog post on Tuesday, Meta referred to graduation speech delivered by Mr. Zuckerberg at Georgetown University in 2019, in which he advocated for loose restrictions on speech. So what they're saying is, way back in 2019, Mr. Zuckerberg was heading towards the getting rid of policy. Some people believe giving more people a voice is driving diversion rather than bringing us together. I agree. More people across the spectrum believe that achieving the political outcome they think matter is more important than every person having a voice. I agree with the statement. I'm not going to say I agree that it's dividing, but I will have to say in recent years, this country that I know of and other countries that I've heard of on people's YouTube channels, it's divided, Republican against Democrat. You're either one or the other. I personally am neither. I vote for who I think is going to do the best job. And I have respect for whoever is there because I feel like they're going to do the best job they're able to do. And they're only going to be there 4 years, maybe 8. And then we'll get somebody new to try to come in and straighten out something that might have gotten messed up. So it don't matter. Some people believe giving more people a voice is driving division. Oh, I already read that. Goldman of Santa Clara University said Mr. Zuckerberg may be seizing upon Mr. Trump-era opposition towards content moderation. I don't think so. It's plausible that Mr. Zuckerberg all along has felt Facebook was doing too much content moderation, and he has finally decided to express that view more forcefully. Mr. Goldman said, it's not a new view for Mr. Zuckerberg to be questioning the value of content moderation. That's what I just said. If he was talking about it in 2019, it might have just took this long to get it enforced. Okay, this lady's going to do her own talking. I want to drink a soda. Okay, so anyway. And there's nothing in it. Here's the lid. I opened it fresh when I got here. Okay, bring this up on screen. I haven't drank alcohol since Thanksgiving of 2021. And I don't plan to start now. I forgot to tell you. This is from Foreign Policy Association. Okay? Should social media companies be responsible for content on their platforms? Let's give her a thumbs up and listen to what she has to say. It's only 1 minute and 57 seconds long. It's not a big, long video.
The principle of a free press, the principle of the First Amendment for that matter, is that under law, you have the right to your opinion and to voice it. Where you can be stopped is the yelling fire in the crowded theater argument. You can't say and speak in such a way that's going to cause harm to someone else. And I think perhaps by some extension, one could argue that social media titans are coming to understand that they have been enabling those people yelling fire in the crowded theater.
One thing that she's talking about, it's not really social media, but I have an eBay platform and I sell items such as, well, today I sold all these mismatched salt and pepper shakers. I sold 7 or 8 of them for $10. And I did that over Facebook, but they were listed on my eBay page. Okay, I also have a dish out in my living room that's sterling, and it was made by Forbes silver company before the Forbes company merged with whatever company they merged with that they're now doing silver plated items. And a lady was looking at my items and she said, Forbes don't do silver. And I said, if you read the description on the item, it was made, because it's dated, like 1819 or 1919 or something like that. It's dated way back there before Forbes merged, when it was actual silver. And it's stamped, imprinted into the bottom, of the dish. Then she tried to tell me that the legs had been sawed off. No, they hadn't. Then she tried to tell me that it had dents in it. I said, no, it doesn't. This is the way it was formed. And everything. And then she said, yeah, I had pictures of me and I had pictures of my daughter and pictures. I put pictures of everybody on there. Back when I lived in Missouri, I got permission from my son-in-law or daughter-in-law to post pictures of their children before I posted it, because they're my step-grandchildren. So, and if they didn't want to post pictures of their children on their Facebook page, I asked permission to post them on mine. So, anyway, just out of respect. So then she said, oh, I didn't mean for you to think I was trying to tell you you were wrong. And I was like, it came across that way. I apologize if I sounded rude, but it kind of hurt my feelings that you would think that I wouldn't research my items. So many people come at me through my eBay telling me that I'm wrong about an item. And I research every item that I put on my channel because I don't want to tell lies. So anyway, that's what she's talking about.
And so you've seen just in the last year or so, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Googles, and otherwise, realizing that they don't need to give a platform to a white supremacist neo-Nazi group and kick them off the platform. That they can use AI and algorithms to detect extremist sites, that Google, which owns YouTube, can figure out ways to limit some of the propagandistic, terroristic videos that ISIS and others are putting up. Those are the voices yelling fire in the theater that want us, that are doing it to get a reaction, that are doing it to hurt us.
Well, that was informative. I don't think I want to read about Hunter Biden. Okay. So, oh, that's not what I wanted. Sorry, clicked the wrong button. Now we're going to go to some videos I found on Bing. This is from Social Media Etiquette Do's and Don'ts. I don't see where I can give them a thumbs up. Okay, all I can do, I guess, is just, because there's no way to even make it smaller. Mind your social media. I hope there's sound.
Hey everyone, welcome back to this channel. This is Disha here. As we all know, any discussions on social media can be sensitive, and it can either inspire one or can spark a debate. A good care must be taken in the words we use and the content we share. Many employers analyze candidates' social media as one of its ways to screen candidates for further authentication during the hiring process. Here are some do's and don'ts to consider.
I wonder where she's from. I like her accent. I mean, I would have a hard time if I had to talk to her all the time, but I like her accent.
Consider. Remember, these tips are sure to have an impact on potential candidates. Let's start with the don'ts. Number 1. Avoid sharing inappropriate images on social media. Number 2. Avoid the use of abusive language on your posts and offensive comments. Number 3. Do not share any content that hurts sentiments of other cultures and other religions. Number 4. Do not share any drug related content. Number 5. Do not share any personal documents on social media or post them. Number 6. Do not be too personal on social media. Number 7. Avoid trolling on social media. And number 8. Do not follow or add strangers on social media, as this can give them the access to your private information.
There's a lot of trolls. I don't see any in my channel currently, but I've seen them on the YouTube streets. Almost any channel that I go to that I watch the comments in, I hear them talking about trolls and stuff, and they are blocking trolls and everything else. Well, I mean, that's all well and good, but a troll is just going to change their name and come right back, in my opinion. Social
Now
media.
that we're all clear with the don'ts, let's move on to the do's. Number 1. Keep your social media accounts private and secure to prevent data theft. Number 2. Always change your passwords regularly to avoid your account from being hacked. Number 3. Check your spelling and grammar before you post your final content. Number 4. Separate your personal profile from your professional profile. Number 5. Untag yourself from any inappropriate images. And number 6. Be sure to keep your cyber image clean. Now you must be wondering what cyber image is. Let me explain. Cyber image is how you portray yourself on various social media platforms. That is your total outlook and profile. Your cyber image must be positive and legitimate and must be periodically reviewed to maintain a secure and clean profile. Here's a fact.
So, if I came on here half dressed or inappropriately dressed or in my pajamas or whatever, people out there in the YouTube streets would talk about that. If I came out here wearing some kind of a push-up boulder holder and a very low-cut top, that would not be appropriate for on here. So I try to dress at least looking clean and decent. I wear clean clothes. I wash my hair. I wash my face. I brush my teeth. I put my teeth in my mouth. So, yeah.
Check. In today's world, when the boundaries are seamless, most of us meet each other. And your clean cyber image is something which helps you create the right image on your discussion. Therefore, let's keep our cyber image clean. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel.
Okay. I didn't even put that one in my list of, I clicked on something. I don't know what it was. Okay. Privacy and social media mapping. Okay. It's another Bing video. The link is in my description. And let's hit go. Managing alternative for privacy. Legal notice. The views expressed in this video are sole responsibility of the author and do not necessarily back up. Do not necessarily reflect the views of the European Union. This video is developed by the Mapping Consortium. For more information or contact details, please visit mappingtheinternet.eu. Or I think it's just .eu with a period behind it. So this is from Europe, but I think it applies in America because some of our stuff goes over there. And let me put it up on stage for you so you can see what we're talking about.
So, you were born. Then you start living your life. Now you're entitled to your own social media profile. You're in. Welcome to your social media reality.
I just realized what that was saying in the background, and it says Audio Jungle. I hear that when I'm looking up music for my videos, and you have to get the license for that, and I don't have the license for this song, so I may get a copyright strike.
Congratulations, you're 18 now. Do you want to know the other side of the story? Did you see the picture that was taken and uploaded by your parents? This information was collected, analyzed, and may be sold by the social media to its affiliates and partners. Even before you are conscious of it, you start existing on the internet, and data starts being compiled about you to be used sometime later. Let's have a further look. The internet knows where you studied, even before you had the chance to enter that information in the online space. This may not bother you. Who cares where you studied? But what happens when you started your own social media activities? Social media platforms, websites, and mobile applications collect, process, and profile your data into statistics that are ready to be sold. By agreeing to the terms and conditions of a social media network, websites, and mobile applications, you grant permissions to their owners to collect, process, and sell personal.
Now, if you know some content creators, you know which state they live in. And sometimes you can tell by where they are in their state. Like, if I drove past McConnell Air Force Base, you would think I lived in Wichita, Kansas. Everybody knows I live in Kansas. I do not live in Wichita. I live in Nowhereville, Kansas. Because my address does not need to be on my YouTube page. So, yeah, I live in Nowhereville, Kansas. Small town Kansas. Big city Kansas. I live within 100 miles of Wichita. I'll give you that. But that's all you need to know.
Details such as information you provide, uploaded data containing information regarding your geolocation, which can help people track you down, information that other people provide, information about your devices from which you have logged on to social media, your location, operating system, and device settings, information about you visiting and using other websites which have integrated social media services. Even when you are not logged into your social media profile, these actors may provide information to social media. Information provided by social media's affiliates and partners. Information that the mobile application gathers from your phone. This data about you and millions of other users is utilized by companies. Actually, your likes, shares, and posts reveal a lot about your personality. Companies.
Speaking of which, I put my application on LinkedIn in 2014. I got a job working for the University of Arkansas in the beginning of the 2016 first summer semester. I got a job working there. I worked there till 2018. I haven't used LinkedIn since, but I'm still getting job offers for that area. And I don't even know how to log into my LinkedIn account. I can't remember the password. I can't figure any of that out. But, you know, once it's there, it's there. And like my store that I used to have, I still get phone calls and I still get people saying, you're on Google. And I'm like, well, it's supposed to say on there that this is an e-commerce only. I said, my IT designer, my professional, has tried everything to get it off of Google. We can't get it off of Google. So it's, and it actually lists the address of my e-commerce. So, I mean, I've had people knock on my door and I'm like, I am not a store. So, you know, once it's on Google, it's there forever.
Modify their goods and services, considering your preferences revealed to them through an analysis of your online behavior. They use models for profiling so as to extract information about your habits that even you did not notice. They get insights on your preferences, sexual orientation, financial situation, social circle, political affiliation, and religious beliefs. They even try to judge what your level of intelligence is. Your next employer may have access to such information and may already know more about you than you know about yourself. Under certain circumstances, this data may also be used by public authorities for deciding whether you are a threat to national security. You may or may not be okay with this, but the important part is being aware of the other side of the story. Privacy policies usually contain a lot of text, but do always read your privacy policy and adjust your privacy settings. You can reap the benefits of the digital world, but you should do it in a smart way and protect yourself from risks. If you want to know as much as I do and more about online privacy and data protection, check out http://engaged.mappingtheinternet.eu/en.
Okay. So, once it's there, it's there. If I went, somebody might say that I was, if that meant something bad, to me, I was just making a motion. It didn't mean anything. And if anybody sees this in a video, it didn't mean anything. Okay? It was just a video. But it's there. It's out there forever. People can say, I don't even know what that symbol means. I know when I was a kid, I used to do it to my brother when I wanted to tell him he was acting stupid or something, you know. But I don't know what that actual, because things that had meaning when I was a teenager, they mean something totally different now. Okay? So, okay. The next one is another Bing video. It's the last one, actually. And it says social media and hate speech. Who gets to decide? This is really important because this is what I was talking about with the hand gesture I just made. It wasn't hate speech towards anybody in any fashion. It was just emotion. Like people that fly the bird, that means something. But some people do it in a joking, funny manner. I used to do it to my mom and dad all the time. But if I ever did it when I was mad, I knew the difference. And I never actually really did. I just kind of folded my fingers down a little bit like that. So you can't even tell what I'm doing, but you know what I mean, okay? So, yeah. Okay, let's bring this one up and see what she has to say. Okay. Nancy Guthrie's press conference. Okay. There was a news anchor whose mom went missing, and they discovered a lot at her house. And I've been seeing headlines about it. I haven't watched anything about it. Speaking of which, I'd like to know in the comments if you're watching on replay, which I thank you very much for, or if you're currently here. This year is 25 years since 9/11 happened. A lot of people weren't even born. My son wasn't born, my youngest. But I remember where I was and what I was doing that day. And there's been a lot of things. National Geographic did a thing 2 years ago about it. There's other content creators on YouTube that are putting out new videos because new information's coming out about it, and interviews with the survivors and things like that. And I was thinking about putting something together for the anniversary on 9/11 in September. To commemorate the anniversary of 9/11. Would anybody be interested in seeing that? Just let me know. You know, you can say like 9/11 yes or 9/11 no, or, you know, whatever you think about it. So, all right, now let's listen to this hate speech. The Atlantic.
Welcome to the next generation of website creation. Wix Harmony. Get the power of AI.
Social media have been called upon to censor hate speech, and they've tried to do so, but with no more success than any other attempt at censoring hate speech by governments throughout history and around the world. Hate speech is not a recognized legal concept in the United States, which is why I use the air quote. That said, speech that conveys a hateful message, along with speech that conveys any message, may in a particular context be punished if it directly causes specific, imminent, serious harm. Many people are surprised to learn that the First Amendment only applies to government. So social media literally have their own free speech rights to decide that certain voices and messages should be excluded from their platforms. I understand the moral satisfaction of calling for suppressing ideas that we hate, but experience shows that censorship does.
I didn't know that the First Amendment only applies to government. I mean, we have a freedom of speech, but that's for the government. That's not for us. Is the amendments in the Bill of Rights like the We the People thing? I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that because I don't know for a fact that that is only for government. I don't know.
does more harm than good. Countries around the world, including comparable democratic countries in Europe, Canada, Australia, and so forth, have been censoring hate speech for several decades. They have not been effective, most ironically being used to suppress the rights of marginalized individuals and groups. And not surprisingly, a very large coalition of civil liberties and civil rights organizations have been complaining to Facebook for years that it has punished as hate speech their advocacy of equality. For example, the Black Lives Matter movement on behalf of the pipeline protesters. Anybody who is objecting to government policies is disproportionately censored as engaging in hate speech. A more effective response to any idea we hate or consider hateful or dangerous is not to silence it, but to refute it, to explain why. A compassionate approach is much more effective than an angry, hostile, demonizing approach. Social media make it much easier to deploy hate speech, but counter speech is also more easily disseminated. What is the lesser of two evils? Would we rather trust ourselves and our fellow citizens to ignore and rebut messages that are hateful? Or would we rather trust either government officials or powerful corporate entities to take those decisions away from us? I'd say the lesser of two evils is making our own decisions.
Well, that's true. That's true. If we make you can choose to disagree. And you can agree to disagree. Okay? We could sit here and argue all day long about something, anything. Or we can choose to disagree. It's that simple. I prefer to choose to disagree because what might be right for me might not be right for somebody else. Like putting all these fake sunflowers in my ficus trees. Now the ficus trees are fake, both of them. This one has lights on it, but they don't twinkle. I got to get some twinkle lights up there. But, okay, this one, I have the bunches of sunflowers, and then I have a string of sunflower lights that our mayor here in Nowhereville, Kansas, was selling. I got another string over here. See these little ones here? Those are lights, but they're not turned on. I got them from our mayor. He was having a yard sale, and I got them from him. But on this ficus tree, all these sunflowers were on the ficus tree that kept falling apart when I had my store. And then my next door neighbor gave me this ficus tree before Christmas, and I decorated it like a Christmas tree. And then I brought it in, and now when I go to thrifting or whatever, and I see a bunch of flowers like this, I'll buy them if they're cheap enough, and I'll bring them home. And these, I separated them all out. These I haven't gotten around to doing that because I'm lazy. And so, yeah. But y'all could say it's wrong to put sunflowers in a ficus tree. Well, for you, it might be. But if you can look at the back wall, this is a sunflower with KS on it for the state of Kansas. It's crooked because the hole to hang it is crooked, and I usually put a thumbtack beside it. This is a decorative plate. This is a decorative plate. This is a decorative plate. And over here, you can't see it, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves. And 1, 2, 3 of the 4 shelves is sunflowers. This wall has sunflowers. I have cutting mats, the glass cutting boards, on my cook stove because I have glass top cook stove. And I have the cutting boards on there to protect the glass top from stuff spilling on it. I have decorations on my walls in my kitchen. One over my kitchen sink, it's a stick-on mural of a sunflower that I've got on the backsplash. I did have a clock, but I took the mechanism out to put in another clock. So I threw that away. But this bear is wearing, right here, is wearing a sunflower jumpsuit. And I have a mural over the cat's food station that is sunflowers, and it's on the wall. And then I painted a picture of a quarter of a sunflower because I went to an art class and she did 1/4. We could put 4 pictures together and make one big sunflower out of it. And I did 2 of them and sent 1 to, so half of my sunflower is in Little Rock, Arkansas. Well, just outside of Little Rock, at a friend of mine that I've never met in person, but she bought the picture from me anyway. And the other one is over my coffee station. And ironically, we both have them hanging in our kitchens. So, I mean, yeah. That picture with mums, and this is a picture with some kind of pink posy flowers or something. I don't know what they are. But those were in my store when I had my store, and when I didn't have my store anymore, I had to have someplace to hang them. So this used to be a bedroom. This door right here is, you can't see. This door right here is my closet. This door right here goes out in the hallway. And right beside that door is CJ's bedroom. So, and this right back here is my tarot station. Now we could discuss all day long whether tarot is useful or if it's voodoo. It's not voodoo. I'm not a voodoo. But when I do my tarots, which I haven't done, when I quit doing true crime, I also stopped posting my daily tarot messages. But when I do post them, they're all inspirational. I even do tarot for children. Watch some of my YouTube shorts. Okay, so, but we can agree to disagree. I don't think tarot is a bad thing. Some people, my best friend, since I was 12 years old, she calls it voodoo. I said, it's not voodoo. But, you know, and then this book right here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but there's a candle, there's a red book. Go the other way. Okay, right there. There's a red book right there. It's for empaths. I've never read it. The cards on it are great big like this. It's cool. I've opened it, but I've never read it. So I don't know what it says. So anyway, but that's that. So yeah, it's all in how you interpret something. Whether, I mean, you know, if you think tarot is for voodoo, then you don't want to like me, that's your choice. But I don't use it for voodoo. I don't try to put hexes on anybody, and I don't try to tell anybody's future. I just try to use it for inspiration. So anyway, thank you for being here. If you're watching on the replay, please continue to go ahead and hit that thumbs up so that it can get it out, and share my videos. If you think I say something that's important or something that is useful for somebody, share my videos out. And I didn't put any on, but the earrings for today are, stop. That's backwards. Turn around. Go right way. Okay. Right. Right. It's a little hand. There it is. It's going like this. I love you. I'm selling them. Yesterday's earrings were turtles. Oops. They're filigree turtles. And tomorrow's are forever hearts, infinity hearts. So do something nice for someone, even if it's just be the reason that they smile. We'll figure it out. See you tomorrow on Talking Point.